All right, guys, today we're going to be making the background for your koala. We are going to be making the branch for the eucalyptus tree that our koala is going to be sitting in. And we are also going to be adding some leaves on our branch and gluing everything to a blue background. So the first things that you will need is a large blue paper, a skinny brown paper, and your painted green paper from when we painted these for our koalas. So first I'm gonna make some texture on my branch. Texture shows how something feels. And in art, we can use our art materials to make texture. So I'm gonna take a messy mat, put my brown paper on top. Then I'm gonna use some oil pastels to create my texture. You can use brown for this. You could use some tan. You could use a little bit of black. And we're basically gonna rub our pastel on the brown paper just to kind of make it look more rough, like a real wooden branch. So I'm gonna use the side of my oil pastel, the long side, not the top like I normally color with. I'm gonna lay it flat on the side and I'm just gonna drag my pastel over my brown paper and it starts to make that kind of rough branch texture. So I'm gonna fill up my whole branch with some texture. I could add in a little bit of black if I want, or you could do just brown. You could do stripes if you want, or just kind of do it all over like I'm doing. But you're always using the side, not the top, because that will make too many lines. We just want some texture on top. Okay, so then after your texture is done, you can move your messy mat. And now we're gonna cut our brown paper in half the long way. That way we will have two papers. So at the bottom, here's about half, and I'm gonna cut all the way up. So remember, I'm not cutting half this way, I'm cutting half the long way. Your line does not have to be perfectly straight because that will even be a more realistic branch. So then you're gonna glue your first branch going top to bottom. You can either glue it close to the left side or close to the right side. So I'm not gonna put it right in the middle because we wanna have room for our koala on one of the sides. Okay, and when you're gluing this on, you want to make sure that the bottom is lined up with your blue paper and the top is lined up with your blue paper. So I'm just gonna press it down, and I've got some extra glue so I can just wipe that off. Okay, and then with your extra paper, you can create some shorter branches up here to kind of go around your koala. So this part down here, we're gonna leave blank because our koala is gonna be sitting right here. But up here, I can add some branches. So you could cut it even skinnier. And then this piece can go somewhere sticking off my paper. So this paper is way longer than I want it to be, so I'll show you how to fix it. So first, I'm gonna glue it where I want it to go. So I kind of want it to be sideways like this. So I'm gonna just put glue where it's gonna be touching the paper. And then I have this part right here that is too long. So all you have to do is flip it over and you can see where the paper, the blue paper is. So you can just trim right against that blue paper, and then it will fit perfectly on your background. So if you have any pieces like this, like I do, that need to be glued down, you wanna make sure to stick those down first. So there's one branch. So you could even add another branch coming off of that one, or you could add another one underneath it. So maybe I'll kind of just see where I wanna put my branches. And when your branches go diagonal or side to side, it looks more realistic like a tree. So when you've got some branches and you like how they are, you're gonna flip your paper over and smooth everything. So now I'm gonna use my green paper to make some leaves. So I'm gonna cut my paper into small rectangles first so that I know how many leaves I'm gonna make. So you're gonna cut it in half, top to bottom. So on the long side. So now I have 2 skinny rectangles. Then I'm gonna turn those to the side. And you could even stack your paper to do this at the same time. So I've got my rectangle turned to the side. I'm gonna cut that in half. So now I have 4, and I'm gonna cut each one of those in half. So now I have 8 rectangles that I can turn into leaves. There's 2 ways you could do this. You could either draw your leaves first, or you could just cut them with your scissors, but we're gonna turn all of these into 8 leaves. So if you want to draw yours first, you're going to always draw on the white side. That way we won't see any pencil lines. So you're gonna make yourself 2 dots, one at the top and one at the bottom. So dot, dot, and those are in the middle of my paper. Then you're going to make a curved line on the left and a curved line on the right. So there's a leaf, or if I turn it to the side, it looks like an eyeball or a football. So then when you cut it out, then you have a leaf shape that you can add to your tree. If you want to just use your scissors, instead of drawing it first, you are going to start in the middle of your rectangle, about right there, and you're just going to cut a curved line to the other side. So you can flip it over, start at that point, cut a curved line to the top. So it's up to you if you want to draw them or if you want to just cut them. Wider or a little bit skinnier. They don't all have to be the exact same. Want kind of like a fancy leaf, you could cut little V lines on the sides, like little triangles. All right, so now I'm gonna glue on my leaves, and you're not only gonna glue leaves on the end of the branches like this, because in real life, trees have leaves all over their branches, and they even have them kind of sometimes on the trunk. So you're gonna arrange your leaves how you want them to go. You wanna kind of space them out so that every branch has some leaves. And remember, if yours goes off the page like this, we know how to trim it off, so it's okay. So you're gonna kind of spread them out so that you like the arrangement and there's leaves in every spot, and then you're gonna glue them down. So when you're gluing, since this is painted paper, you wanna make sure you put a dot on both corners and a dot on both sides. So every leaf should have 4 little dots, and that way your paper will stick to the background. Okay, so when you've glued on all your leaves, you're gonna flip it over one more time and smooth out the back. And if you have any leaves that are sticking off, you can trim those off. All right, so there is our koala background. We have our tree and our tree branches and our leaves, and then we have a spot for our koala to go next time. So when you're finished with your background, then you can put this on the drying rack and clean up your area.